to stay home, brother. You will not be able to plug in, turn on, and cop out. You will not be able to lose yourself on Skag and skip out for beer during commercials because the revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be brought to you by Xerox in 4 parts without commercial interruptions. The revolution will not show you pictures of Nixon blowing a bugle and leading a charge by John Mitchell, General Abrams, and Spyro Agnew to eat hog maws confiscated from a Harlem sanctuary. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be brought to you by the Schaefer Award Theater and will not star Natalie Woods and Steve McQueen or Bullwinkle and Julia. The revolution will not give your mouth sex appeal. The revolution will not get rid of the nubs. The revolution will not make you look 5 pounds thinner because the revolution will not be televised, brother. There will be no pictures of you and Willie Mae pushing that shopping cart down the block on the dead run or trying to slide that color TV into a stolen ambulance. NBC will not be able to predict the winner at 8:32 on report from 29 districts. The revolution will not be televised. There will be no pictures of pigs shooting down brothers on the instant replay. There will be no pictures of pigs shooting down brothers on the instant replay. There will be no pictures of Whitney Young being run out of Harlem on a rail with a brand new process. There will be no slow motion or still lights of Roy Wilkins strolling through Watts in a red, black, and green liberation jumpsuit that he has been saving for just the proper occasion. Green Acres, Beverly Hillbillies, and Hooterville Junction will no longer be so damn relevant, and women will not care if Dick finally got down with Jane on Search for Tomorrow, because black people will be in the street looking for a brighter day. The revolution will not be televised. There will be no highlights on the 11 o'clock news and no pictures of Harry R. women liberationists and Jackie Onassis blowing her nose. The theme song will not be written by Jim Webb or Francis Scott Key, nor sung by Glenn Campbell, Tom Jones, Johnny Cash, Engelbert Humperdinck, or The Rare Earth. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be right back after a message about a white tornado, white lightning, or white people. You will not have to worry about a dove in your bedroom, the tiger in your tank, or the giant in your toilet bowl. The revolution will not go better with Coke. The revolution will not fight germs that may cause bad breath. The revolution will put you in the driver's seat. The revolution will not be televised, will not be televised, will not be televised, will not be televised. The revolution will be no rerun, brothers. The revolution will be live.
I'm talking about Shabaka going crazy. People going crazy in these motherfuckers. Run that shit back, man.
But it means nothing. Nothing about a woman on a day. Man made the car. Carry the heavy load. Man made the electric light to take us out of the dark. Man made the boat for the water. Like the seven no meter. Man thinks about a little bit of baby girl and a baby boy. Make them happy because man makes them strong. But after man make everything we can, do you know that man makes money? To buy from other men. This is a man's world.
I'm talking about Shabaka going crazy. People going crazy in these motherfuckers. Run that shit back, man.
But it means nothing. Nothing about a woman on a day. Man made the Man thinks about a little bit of baby girl and a baby boy. And man makes them happy because man makes them joy. But after man make everything we can, do you know that man makes the money? To buy from other men. This is a man's world. But
Greetings, Black family. Greetings, and thank y'all for tuning in to another episode of Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced. This is Grand Rising with Shabaka and the Chase, Season 10, Episode 46 of Grand Rising with Shabaka and the Chase, in conjunction with the Front Line Blacc News. And I'm your host, Chain Kruma. And we got our other host behind me, Lady Chase. She's asleep. When she wakes up, she'll probably be joining us. And on the Season 10, Episode 46 of Grand Rising with Shabaka and the Chase, in conjunction with the Front Line Blacc News, we'll be discussing several topics. First, we want to send a big RIP to our brother Blacc Voltron Reloaded, who passed days ago at age 55. Then we got New York Attorney General Letitia James indicted by Trump DOJ. We warned her that this would happen. Trump, aka the dump, as in human shit, and we want to make that perfectly clear, admits he's using Project 2025 after campaign denials exposed. Trump threatens to put Brandon Johnson in jail. More ICE raids in Chicago. Trump calls for arrest of Governor J.B. Pritzker and Mayor Brandon Johnson. And is Trump going to have the Illinois governor arrested? Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced is based off the 50th anniversary of the founding of the original Blacc Panther Party for self-defense. It started on Blogtalk Radio back in 2016 and have been around for 10 seasons now. Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced covers the Black experience from the beginning of time until 10 minutes ago. It is also a part of the Frontline campaign and has recently, within the last 2 years, moved from Blogtalk Radio to Streamyard. In the description, including the RBA, Lady Chase, channel, Jay Militant, What's Cracking TV with Jay Militant, Kukizi's channel, the brother does our intro track on Frontline Blacc News. This link is in the description. The Church of Black Power, but out of Watts, California, who's now in Houston, Texas. His link is also in the description. It's on the petition for reparations. That's in the description. Charlie Kirk, a college student at Texas University that was expelled. His GoFundMe is also in the description. The GoFundMe Letitia setup is also in the description. Then we have the copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allows for fair use purposes, criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. And I do not own the rights to the music. And if you don't understand racism, white supremacy, what it is and how it works, everything else you think you understand will only confuse you. In all 9 areas of human activities: economics, education, entertainment, labor, law, politics, religion, sex, and war. Some say health and nutrition. ProduceJustice.com, RIP to the great Nellie Fuller Jr., who passed away in February at the age of 95. He would have been 96 as of a few days ago. When you, a black person, are captured by any race soldier, you must never fuss, fight, or flee. Comply and defend yourself in court. Nellie Fuller Jr. as well. ProduceJustice.com. And last but certainly not least, we got racism. White supremacy is conscious or subconscious behavior to maintain white genetic survival to prevent white genetic annihilation. Dr. Francis Chris Wilson. So those are the topics. Thank y'all for tuning in. Hey, Young Riaz, thank you for tapping in. Salute to Twin. Salute to Mac. Grand Rising. Yes, to everyone. Mac is in the building. Twin is in the building. Young Riaz is in the building. So we're going to hop right into it. So our brother Blacc Voltron Reloaded was set a mod on several channels, several platforms that me and Lady Che quite regularly frequent, such as Jason Blacc, the Black Authority, Tariq Nasheed, Black Alpha Network, Sincere Love to God, just to name a few. And the last conversation I had with him was on Sincere Love to God's Godcast, and not more recently, but how I got more acquainted with the brother was, we had the hearings for reparations in California, and me and Lady Che both called in to the hearings in California, and Blacc Voltron Reloaded actually spoke at one of the hearings. So I'm gonna play that video real quick while I'm getting everything queued up. So, we had the Reparations Task Force in California. And on May 6, 2023, my brother Blacc Voltron Reloaded spoke. I'm going to play his speech. He spoke right after Chris Lodgins of CJAC, which is California's for Just and Equal California, Just and Equitable California. Shout out to them. He spoke right after Chris. So I'm going to play the brother's speech, and then I'll give y'all some more details on him, or more information on the brother. I think I got it queued up at the right time. So this is our brother Blacc Voltron Reloaded. He said he just recently passed away.
We are angry. We've been passed over by every single group, citizen and non-citizen, within the United States of America, especially here in California. We are expecting all of you, every single one of you, is right as California Reparations Task Force. Cash reparations, number one. Number one, anti-Black hate crime bills, and all the rest of what you guys have recommended in the report. I don't know what's going to happen after these hearings. This is what I do know. I have to represent not only for my ancestors, Douglas Clark, Anthony M.J. Clark, but for my descendants, my child, my grandchildren to come, my descendants to come. We don't have time to dilly-dally, to BS around. We are running out of time. I expect you guys to do your due diligence, as you've already done, but I expect you to do us right as foundational Black Americans. Reparations is now. Pay the debt, cut the check, or no reparations, no vote 2024. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker is Cameron Jackson, then Donald.
So that was our brother Blacc Voltron Reloaded speaking at the California for Reparations hearing on May 6, 2023. I think me and Letitia called in on that same day as well. So now I'm gonna try to play some more clips of the brother. He was on Still Love the Guys podcast. I spoke right before he did. Let's see if I can pull it up. Make sure y'all hit that like and subscribe button. I forgot what we were talking about that day. It was something in regards to the immigration. Let's see if I can find it real quick. It was recent too. I want to say it was this Charlie Kirk shit. Let's see. I think it was this one.
Charlie Kirk. Man, this thing is just flooding the algorithm, ain't it? We're gonna talk that shit though. Like, she prides herself on being ratchet.
Of course.
He won. It just displayed.
He get a little.
He just kept
entity to protect yourself from lawsuits and this, that, and
Charlie Kirk immigration that we was talking about, and Blacc Voltron Reloaded had hopped on. I'm trying to remember which one it was. It was recently, like within like the past month or so. I don't know. It's sounding like us now. Oh, it was the Amanda Seales one. Okay, here it is.
remember you.
Those Africans have to be organized to fight for their liberation.
Make sure it's the right video. Showed it on the front of Black News too. Hold on, I thought it was the Amanda Seales one. I could have sworn I had on the link on that one. Yeah, I can't remember now. Sorry, y'all. I thought it was that one about Amanda Seales. I'm pulling that up. I'm gonna show y'all the Twitter page. My brother's passing. So like 2 or 3 people called me yesterday. It was like Blacc Voltron Reloaded is gone, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, it really took me by surprise because we were just talking with the brother not too long ago. One day you're here, the next you're gone. And that's exactly what ended up happening. So I'm gonna show y'all the Facebook post about his passing. Let's see. Let's just play that. Okay, so shout out to the Juan B. He posted this on October 9th. Just strolled and read the terrible news on Facebook. RIP to Blacc Voltron Reloaded. I'm hoping the brothers' comments and say this is bullshit, but probably not. His sister wrote this on the Facebook wall. So it says, it is with profound sadness that I announced the passing of my beloved brother, Russell L. Clark, yesterday in San Francisco, California. On November 5th, Russ would have been 55 years old. So he was 54. He would have been 55 in about a month. Many here in West Virginia and Maine knew and loved him so much, as he regularly spent his birthdays and vacations with us. I am usually so verbose, but I am completely shattered by this. And this has taken me all afternoon and evening to write. This man was my very best friend and patriarch of our family, along with his beloved. Hey kitties. The cats want to jump on me all of a sudden. And along with the beloved cousin, Carrollton Coleman, was a strong, loving father figure for my son, JP. These two men stood in the gap when John Paul's father abandoned him and each taught him on in his own way to be kind, loving, protective, and hardworking. Hardworking man who takes care of his responsibilities and his family. That sums up Russ in one sentence. And there's more. He is survived by his lovely daughter, Leela, his mother, Aileen, his sister, Sheila, me, Kasisa, and Katana, his best friend, Tracy, and so many others who loved and respected him. He was a courageous man, a single father who raised a beautiful daughter and took on the raising of my son, JP, from afar, which was no small feat. He was a gentle and devoted caretaker to his mother, who is facing the sunset of her life and now has to bury her only son. He was a dedicated worker, a man who could be counted on to work tirelessly and keep his word to do an excellent job under often ridiculous conditions, and a devoted friend to those of whom he cared. It was really, really funny with an iconic sense of humor, who laughed at the absurd and made you laugh about it too. And please, God, don't let him clown you. He would make short work of the low and high, known by many on Twitter as Voltron Reloaded, Voltron to his family, and Voltron Blacc. He was just the real deal, the entire package. We have so many marvelous memories, too many to share here. But here are a few pictures of us, our travels together as a family in these precious times that are now sealed in our souls, so that we can keep him with us just a bit longer, as we feel cheated that he has been taken away from us way too soon. Rest in both peace and power, dear brother. I love you and you dearly, and I cannot wait to see you. To everyone, I said hello. So that's what his sister Sheila said on Facebook. And then that's a picture of our brother, Blacc Voltron Reloaded. So he definitely rest in power. Rest in peace and power. Alright, so I wasn't able to find the damn. I still trying to find this damn clip, because he was on Sincere Love the Guys podcast, and we were on at the same time. So I don't know why it's not showing up. I think it's Amanda Sears. Is it Amanda Sears or is BT Dogan FBA coach? It's one of these two videos. How white supremacists sanitize. One of these two. Very recent. This is the son of support. It's one of these. Hold on. On this clip. Yeah, Blacc Voltron Reloaded speaking. Yeah, so how's everybody's Friday going so far? You know, in the comments, I'm pulling this up. Yeah, Letitia got a big appointment, and this appointment's coming up today, so I'm trying to knock this show out before we go to the appointments. Yeah. Okay, this is one where I was speaking. No, it's Mr. Ishmael. What the heck came on with me? Oh well, I'll probably pull it up on Front Line Blacc. No, I can't remember which one it was. It was either Asada Shakur, Amanda Sears, or Charlie the Racist, the Bigot Kirk. Hey, kitties. No. Sorry, y'all. I wish I had more time to prepare this, but I'll find it on Frontline Blacc News. Alright, so RIP to our brother Blacc Voltron Reloaded. Gone but not forgotten. I know you would like us to continue the mission for our reparations, and that's exactly what we're going to keep doing, brother, in the anti-Black hate crime bill. So, big RIP to you, condolences to your family, friends and family. And I'm going to move to the next topic, and that is New York Attorney General Letitia James indicted by Trump DOJ. We warned her this would happen. So Uncle Phil's going to give us an update on that.
Then that's when I started dealing with the change. And I'm like, it has frustrated me ever since, because I used to eat all. And if I back off from the gym and don't eat that too, okay, you said that you can't eat anything without putting on pounds.
She's a horrible, horrible human being.
I've learned about the white supremacists. Hey, I'll give it up. I will give it up. But you say you like that too? Okay, you said that you can't eat anything without putting on pounds. Yeah, it sucks, right? It sucks. You gotta fast, and you got something I said about her on May 7th. This is a live stream. 25. Cue this up before we get to the whole thing with Letitia. I've learned about the white supremacists. When they see that a black person has backing, their whole strategy got to change at that point. When they see a black person has no backing, oh, you red meat for the wolves at that point. You complete red meat. I don't know why you black politicians don't think like that. Them Democrats are not going to save you. They're not going to help you. Brandon Johnson in Chicago, you know, another one. He did all that stuff for immigration. They ain't done with him either. They're going to circle back to him. You watch. They're going to circle back to Brandon Johnson. I see it coming. But let me get to Trump. Your boy Trump. Trump wilding out. Let's get to Trump. Let's see what Trump had to say.
I can say unrelated to that, she's a disaster for New York. She's a horrible, horrible human being. And I think she's a total crook. There's no question about it. But that's just my opinion. Pam's going to have to do what she wants. She's a very bad person. She's a very, very bad person who campaigned solely on, I'm going to get Donald Trump over and over again. She's a sick person. But has nothing to do with what Pam does. Pam is going to do what's right. She always does. I've known her a long time.
All right. So Pam, is he talking about Pam Bondi, the Attorney General of the United States of America? I just think it'll be any day now for Letitia James be indicted. I think she's going to get indicted. I think she will. I didn't say convicted, but I didn't say indicted. If she gets indicted, I want to know if it's going to be Fani Willis or Alvin Bragg. Probably Alvin Bragg, maybe before Fani. See. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was just a reminder, and that was May 7th, 2025. Okay. So let's go it on. And look at, let's see which one I want to look at here. Let's see where we at. All right. Where's my button? There we go. All right. Grand jury. Oh, wrong one. Grand jury indicts New York Attorney General Letitia James, a Trump opponent, on bank fraud charges. All right. So that was what, 5 months ago or so that we said that this is, was possibly going to happen. James, a Democrat, has clashed with President Donald Trump after bringing civil charges against him in New York. So let's say New York Attorney General Letitia James, a Democrat who has clashed with President Donald Trump, was indicted Thursday by a federal grand jury in Virginia. James was charged with 1 count of bank fraud and 1 count of false statements to a financial institution after Trump publicly called for his Justice Department appointees to bring charges against her. The indictment alleges James falsely claimed that a home in Norfolk, Virginia was her second residence, allowing her to obtain favorable loan terms, and that she rented the property to a family of 3. Of course, James vehemently denied the charges against her. And we'll play that video, so I'm not going to go through all that. It says, as a new NBC News reported in August, Attorney General Pam Bondi appointed a special attorney to probe mortgage fraud allegations against New York Attorney General, who sought a successful civil fraud case against President Donald Trump before he retook the presidency. Let's say the Federal Housing Finance Agency Director Bill Polt had referred the case to the Justice Department, alleging that James had made false statements on mortgage loan applications, but the case hit a standstill last month because federal agents and prosecutors didn't believe they had the evidence to secure a conviction. 2 senior federal law enforcement officials had told the News. It's acting U.S. Attorney Eric Siebert resigned under pressure last month after Trump said he wanted him out. Trump then named one of his personal attorneys, Lindsay Halligan, to be a U.S. attorney for the Eastern District of Virginia, though she lacked any prosecutorial experience. So she don't know what she's doing. Now, that's not a merit-basst position. That's another DEI hire. Now, it's interesting that he can do all the DEI hires he wants, because according to them, you remember what Charlie Kirk talked about? That if he see a black person, then he hope they're qualified because he think they just being let in because they're black. Well, I mean, Trump's people constantly being let in, and what? Because they white? What? Because they don't have a brain? It's still not merit-based, because this woman had no experience, none whatsoever. Now, I say Halligan is said in a statement that James' indictment that the charges as alleged in the case represent intentional criminal acts and tremendous breaches of the public's trust. The facts and the law in this case are clear. We will continue filing them to ensure justice is served. The James attorney, as Abby Lowell, said the case is driven by President Trump's desire for revenge. We all know that. When the president can publicly direct charges to be filed against someone, and when it was reported that career attorneys concluded none were warranted, and say it marks a serious attack on the rule of law. We will fight these charges in every process allowed under the law. All right, hold on. Let me plug something in here so I don't lose y'all here. Give me a second. Come on. There we go. All right. So they say Trump has repeatedly sought charges against his political enemies, including James and former FBI Director James Comey, who was indicted in September on charges of lying to Congress and obstructing a congressional proceeding. He said, we can't delay any longer. It's killing our reputation and credibility. They impeached me twice and indicted me 5 times over nothing. Justice must be served now, Trump said on Truth Social less than a week before Comey's indictment. In addition to Comey and James, Trump has called for charges against Senator Adam Schiff, a Democrat out of California. I said Halligan presented the case against Comey in the federal grand jury, doing so by herself. In a break from DOJ norms and convincing a majority of the grand jurors that there was probable cause to indict Comey on 2 of 3 counts she presented, Comey pleaded not guilty Wednesday and plans to challenge Halligan's appointment. Okay, so it said the standard for securing an indictment before a federal grand jury is much lower than securing a unanimous conviction by a jury at trial. It said the justice manual, which guides federal prosecutors, says that attorneys for the government should only move forward on a case if they believe the admissible evidence would be enough to obtain a conviction. Okay, so here's the thing. So your boy Trump, he said, you know what? Y'all did it to me, so it's I'm getting y'all back. It's my turn. I can care less, like, forget the presidential norms, forget all that. I'm on a revenge tour, and I got to get at you. Y'all should have put me in jail when you had the chance, because now I'm about to get you. And I warned several times during this time that Letitia James, what she should have did with this case, if she wanted to get at Trump, what you do, and I'm going to repeat what I said, she should have got a special prosecutor and made sure the special prosecutor was an old white man. Now, why would you want to make him an old white man? Well, you want an old white man that's kind of known in New York, and that way your hands are clean. He's doing all the prosecuting. You don't comment on the case. You don't say anything. You say, hey, I'm not even prosecuting that. We have a special prosecutor. He's doing that case, right? Let Trump go at him. Trump gonna have certain limits on what he's gonna say about him, and maybe possibly what to do about him. But when it comes to y'all black folk, they trust me. Yeah, I know he getting at other white folks too, but they'll come. You know how it is in America. They're gonna come at you a lot harder. Now, where's the Democrats? Because she was doing all this for the Democrats. Remember? Alvin Bragg, we haven't forgot about you either, Alvin. You've been quiet, sir. You've been very quiet. He ain't forgot about you, because you the main one that got him convicted. Oh, you think he forgot about you? Oh, please, Alvin. He looking at you right now to see what he can do about you. You probably going through your taxes, probably going through everything you got going on, Alvin. So Alvin, I know Alvin probably scared right now, like, dog, he indicted Letitia and she attorney general? Oh, hell. He gonna try to get me. It ain't gonna be nothing for him to get me. You know what I'm saying? She is a sitting New York State Attorney General. And he put charges on her while she in office. But Biden put charges on Eric Adams while he was in office. So if you think about it, Biden was the one that started that first. Come on, let's call it what it is. All them charges they put on Trump, you never heard of a president having a charge put on them like that. And I'm not saying every president hasn't done no dirt. George Bush, if anybody, should have got some charges for Iraq, and he didn't get no charges. He's still chilling. So you start this mess with Trump, and he trying to get his revenge. Now, let's play what Letitia James said about this development, y'all. And we're gonna get more into this. Let's go ahead and play it.
This is nothing more than a continuation of the president's desperate weaponization of our justice system. He is forcing federal law enforcement agencies to do his bidding, all because I did my job as the New York State Attorney General. These charges are baseless, and the president's own public statements make clear that his only goal is political retribution at any cost. The president's actions are a grave violation of our constitutional order and have drawn sharp criticism from members of both parties. His decision to fire a United States attorney who refused to bring charges against me and replace them with someone who is blindly loyal not to the law, but to the president, is antithetical to the bedrock principles of our country. This is the time for leaders on both sides of the aisle to speak out against this blatant perversion of our system of justice. I stand strongly behind my office's litigation against the Trump Organization. We conducted a 2-year investigation based on the facts and evidence, not politics. Judges have upheld the trial court's finding that Donald Trump, his company, and his 2 sons are liable for fraud. I'm a proud woman of faith, and I know that faith and fear cannot share the same space. And so today, I'm not fearful. I'm fearless. And as my faith teaches me, no weapon formed against me shall prosper. We will fight these baseless charges aggressively, and my office will continue to fiercely protect New Yorkers and their rights. And I will continue to do my job.
All right, Letitia. So yeah, that's your statement, and we're gonna get into the charging documents because we got it here, so we can see exactly what she's being charged with verbatim. But here's the thing, y'all black politicians, you haven't learned, haven't you? Fonnie Willis, he ain't forgot about you either, ma'am, in Atlanta. He ain't forgot. Oh, he gonna circle back to you too. He getting all y'all, and the Democrats won't say. Listen. The Democrats won't say nothing about what Trump is doing in their own district. So they definitely not coming for y'all. But see, y'all black politicians, y'all will sit up here, y'all was just jumping in front. Y'all let the Democrats tell, yeah, if we win, we'll give you a U.S. attorney job, or we'll give you, maybe we'll give you attorney general, we'll give you some federal judge position. You can just get Trump and let us get in there, right? We will put you on federal court, and that's a job for life. And you actually did all that, because let's call it what it is. These black politicians didn't step out there going after Trump because they want to. Look, white folks put y'all in front because they know how he is. But y'all being dumb instead of being smart. Look, what Trump did about the New York case, I'm talking about the one about the banks and all of that. Man, people don't care about that. He didn't even steal nothing from nobody. He paid the banks back. The banks in the trial say, he paid. Yeah, he said he got a loan. He paid us back. We ain't got a problem with him. But y'all continue with the case, Letitia, and you did it not because you cared about New York. You did it because you wanted some position that's higher than Attorney General of the state of New York. Alvin Bragg, you did that same thing. Fonnie Willis, you did that same thing because all y'all was going to the White House to Biden. That's been proven. All of you. Even Fonnie's boo thing, Nathan Wade, he was up there at the White House with Biden. Why did your boo thing go up there, Fonnie? Was he promised a job too? Because you hired your man to go prosecute Trump, right? Remember that? And who's to say Nathan Wade they may not come after him too? We don't know. Do not be a crash test dummy for the Democrats, black folk. because they're not going to stand with you. They're not. Fani, Nathan, Wade, Alvin Bragg, and definitely Letitia James, they are on their own. All that what the Bible tells you and all that, let me tell you something. If you was actually praying and asking God for wisdom, he would have told you, don't do it. Let a special prosecutor do it. Sometimes you gotta, the 48 laws of power will teach you only fight battles you know you can win. And sometimes you got to think, okay, yeah, I may win a little battle, but will I win the war? See, when this dude got elected, it was a lot of people got in trouble at that point. And they started trembling, saying, well, maybe he'll forget about me. Nah, dude ain't forgot about you. He haven't forgot. So let this be a lesson learned for black politicians. Don't get involved in, let me tell you something about my grandfather said a long time ago. And I've said this many times before. I'm going to repeat this again. My grandfather said, 2 white sheets don't fade on another. And at that time period as a child, I say, what does that mean? He said that when 2 white people are fighting, or white people in general are fighting, you do not get involved with that. You don't take one side or another with them. Because what they going to do, they going to link up. Even though they were fighting, they will link up and both of them will go against you. And have we not seen this? Have we not seen it? Their issue with Trump was a white problem. It wasn't a white and black problem. Black folks didn't care nothing about what Trump did with his loans. Black folks didn't care nothing about what he did with side chicks. Black folks didn't care about, that's his business. They're like, we don't care about that. We trying to do our own thing out here. Black folks, only thing they were talking about with Trump was stimulus checks. That's it. Other than that, they weren't even mentioning Trump like that. But this is what happened when you stick your nose in white people's beefs. That's why if they just tearing each other apart, I'll watch it from a distance, but don't you see what he said? I don't care what he say about you. And don't you tell me about him. I don't care. It has nothing to do with me. It's them statements. My name is Bennett. I'm not in it. My name is Paul. That's between y'all. I'm all them names. That's me. I don't care what y'all do. Just as long as you leave me alone and my community alone, y'all can do whatever the hell y'all want to each other. Keep me out of it. Black people, you see, and black people, oh God, black people, I love you. Because they want you out there so bad protesting, whatever. And black folks are like, I'm not got nothing to do with that. Leave me alone. I'm chilling over here. I'm doing whatever I'm doing. Leave me alone. And that's been the best because every time we go out in the street, they both link up against us. The Democrats say things about us and attack us. The Republicans say things about us and attack us. Every time we step front out there, nobody got our back. Immigrants will say things about us too. So see, since we were staying out the way, now they got to really deal with each other. And they turn against each other every day. I'm seeing more and more of them turn against each other. MAGA is literally infighting. Let them do it. Stay out of it. Stay out. See, black folk, you're going to learn. You're going to learn the hard way. You're going to learn. And Letitia, let's see what happens. I don't know. Maybe she can beat the case. I don't know. I can't speculate. But even going through a case, she's going to spend a lot of money. A lot of people say to fight a Fed case is up to $1 million. That's what people say. So stay out of white folk business. If you listen, the business we need to stay in is black folk business. There's plenty of business in the black community that we can be involved in. A lot of business. It's not that, oh, she can't prosecute somebody white. That's not the issue. She was getting involved in political warfare, political prosecutions. She wasn't just doing a job. She ran on prosecuting Trump. She did. And you know good and well for a black woman to, number one, be in that kind of position, a black woman run off at the mouth like she run off at the mouth, you got to be just smart on how you move, man. It just, at least, look, you got to be smart at least until to get to the point these people not running nothing anymore because their numbers are so small they can't run nothing no more, which they fear that day coming, and it is coming. But until that day gets here, you just got to move accordingly. If you want to work in this system. Now, you a person that want to be a part of this system and you want to do your own thing, hey, go ahead and do your own thing. Now, let's go ahead on and look at real quick. Not going to take us too long. Let me get this up on the screen. Actually, look at the actual charges because, you know, the mainstream media, they don't like to do that. They don't like to show you paperwork. All right. So you got in the Eastern District Court, Eastern District of Virginia, the USA versus Letitia A. James. So they say the October 25 term, they say the grand charge that general allegations that at all times relevant to this indictment, Letitia James, a resident of Brooklyn, New York, and a borrower of a Fannie Mae backed mortgage loan for the property located at 3121 Perron Avenue, Norfolk, Virginia. They mentioned the OVM Financial. They say also known as Old Virginia Mortgage, Annie Mac. They talk about the basic lending company. They say Fannie Mae was fairly chartered, and they talk about the corporation, the First Savings Bank. So they said that on August 17th, 2020, during the pandemic, a sole borrower purchased 3-bedroom or 1-bath property located at the address below for approximately $137,000. She financed with a mortgage loan of approximately $109,000, backed by Fannie Mae. The loan was originated by OVM Financial under a signed second home rider, which required James, the sole borrower, to occupy and use the property as a secondary residence and prohibited use as a time sharing or other shared ownership arrangement or agreement that requires her either to rent the property or give any person any control over the occupancy or the use of the property. Despite these representations, they say the Perron property was not occupied or used by James as a secondary residence and was instead used as a rental investment property, renting the property to a family of 3. And say the misrepresentation instead of James to obtain favorable loan terms not available for investment properties, including a note rate of 3%, avoiding a 0.815% higher comparable investment property rate of 3.815, resulting in $17,837 in rate savings over the life of the loan. And say a seller credit approximately $3,288, exceeding the seller credit for investment properties by approximately $1,096 for a total ill-gotten gains of approximately $18,933 over the life of the loan. That's a James Universal Property application for homeowners insurance indicated owner-occupied non-seasonal use, further misrepresenting the intent of the use of the property. James filed a Schedule E tax form under penalties of perjury, treating the Perron property as a rental real estate, reporting fair rental delays, 0 personal use days, thousands of dollars in rents received, and claiming deductions for expenses related to the property, further contradicting the second home classification. The loan was acquired by or assigned to First Savings Bank by March 2021, exposing it to risk associated with misrepresented loan. Well, this is the thing. Well, where the bank? This is a question I have. Don't your loan officer supposed to be checking all this stuff, going over this stuff with you before they even send it to underwriting? That's usually how it's supposed to go. They're supposed to thoroughly go through that, make sure you understand everything, ask you all the relevant questions they need to ask you before it even goes to underwriting. Okay, so how? I'm just trying to ask that question. And so the acts described herein occurred within the Eastern District of Virginia. So count 1, bank fraud. It said the allegations in paragraph 1 through 12 are realleged and incorporated herein from on about August 7, 2020 through at least January 2024 in the Eastern District of Virginia and elsewhere. Defendant Letitia A. James did knowingly execute and attempt to execute a scheme and artifice to defraud OVM Financial and First Savings Bank financial institutions and to obtain monies, funds, and credits owned by and under the custody and control of OVM Financial and First Savings Bank by means of false and fraudulent pretenses, representations, and promises. The scheme involved falsely representing the per-owned property as a secondary residence to obtain favorable mortgage terms while using it as an investment property with no intent or actual personal occupancy or use by her. So they're alleging that she said when she got the loan, it's going to be my second house. So I am in New York, but it's going to be my second crib, right? That's what they allege. And they say instead of her being at her second residence, she rented it out. Okay, count 2. False statements to a financial institution. Once again, I don't even see how this is a crime because your mortgage, your loan officer is supposed to be going through all these statements, double checking, triple checking all this mess. And if something's not right, they're supposed to tell you, hey, this isn't right. You know what I'm saying? So I don't see how this is even a crime because the loan officer is supposed to be doing their job. It said the allegations in paragraph 1 through 12 are re-alleged and incorporated herein. It's from about July 28, it's 2020 through at least August 31, 2020, Eastern District of Virginia and elsewhere. Defendant Letitia A. James did knowingly make and cause to be made false statements and reports for the purpose of influencing the action of OVM Financial, a Fannie Mae backed lender, upon an application for a loan. In that, James represented and affirmed the uniform residential loan applications and related documents that the per-owned property will be used as a secondary residence when in truth and fact, as James then knew, they said the property was intended and used as an investment property with no intended or actual personal occupancy or use by her. So they have a forfeiture notice pursuant to the Federal Rule of Criminal Procedure, give you all the law there. As they upon conviction of the offenses in counts 1 and 2, defendant Letitia James shall forfeit to the United States any property constituting or derived from proceeds obtained directly or indirectly as a result of such violation, including but not limited to a money judgment in amount of $18,933. That's not a lot of money. If any property described above as a result of any act or omission or defendant cannot be located upon the exercise due diligence, has been transferred or sold to a deposited third party, has been placed as jurisdiction of the court, has essentially diminished in value, has been commingled with other property which cannot be divided without difficulty. United States shall be entitled to a forfeiture of substitute property pursuant to give you the law there and all of that. And so that is so basically you saying if she's convicted, you want this much money from her, which I'm pretty sure she got, right? And you go want the property itself, basically. You want the house. And I guess what I don't even know what, you know what? Let's find out real quick, y'all. Hold on. Let's find out. Give me a second. Let's find out. Hey, Chad, New York Attorney General Letitia James was indicted on 2 charges. What is the possible jail sentence for those 2 charges?
So it looks like Letitia James has been indicted on charges including bank fraud and making false statements. Basically, the accusation is she misrepresented a property to get a better and was actually renting it out. If she's convicted, she could be looking at up to 60 years behind bars and about $2 million in fines. Of course, she's denying the whole thing and calling it politically motivated.
60 years? Well, what is the maximum penalty on each charge?
Right. So each of those charges individually can carry a maximum penalty of up to 30 years in prison and about a $1 million fine. So combined, that's how they get to that possible 60-year total.
Well, what realistically, if they were to convict her on both counts, what realistically would she get?
Realistically, if she were convicted on both counts, it's pretty unlikely she'd actually get the full 60 years. These maximum penalties are kind of like the absolute worst case scenario and rarely handed out. For a first-time offender or someone in a high-profile position, the sentence might end up being much lower, maybe a few years or even probation, depending on circumstances, plea deals, and all that. So the actual outcome would probably be significantly less severe than the maximum.
Okay, I didn't even know those two charges had that much of a penalty. Okay, so they're trying to throw the book at her.
Yeah, exactly. When you see those maximum sentences, it definitely looks like they're trying to make a big statement or put serious pressure on her. In reality, it's more about setting a tough starting point. But yeah, it's definitely a situation where they're throwing the book at her on paper, even if the final outcome might be less harsh.
Okay. All right. Well, that's what it is then.
Yep, that's pretty much the situation in a nutshell. It'll be interesting to see how it all plays out in the courts. And of course, we'll keep an eye on any updates as they come in.
All right. Well, y'all, I didn't know that, y'all. Let me get to my other screen. I didn't know the maximum penalty was 60 years. I did not know, y'all. Find something I knew every day. Man, Trump, he trying to get her jammed up. He trying to get her jammed up, y'all. Now he said, why didn't Biden get her a pardon? There you go. Why Biden didn't pardon all those people that went after Trump? He made sure to pardon his family on the way out, though. He made sure that his son and anybody else, he took care of them. He said, look, he already knew what Trump was going to be on. So let me go ahead and pardon my son. Let me pardon all my family. So Trump ain't going to mess with us. Man, Biden don't care, but Biden didn't care about none of y'all. He didn't care about none of y'all. Yeah, Tish, yeah, Tish got jammed up. Wow, I did not know that those charges carried that much of a penalty. God, I didn't know that. Now, Coco say Trump is petty, but you don't blame him? Yeah. Man. Yeah. I bet you now she thinking, man, I knew I should have did the special prosecutor. Why did I do this? Now, you bet your boy Alvin Bragg probably already looked up them charges, him and Fonnie Willis. Boy, they gonna be quiet. Oh boy, where's Fonnie? Where's Fonnie? Oh, where's Fonnie? I know she paying attention to this case. I know she is. Oh Lord, Fonnie, they gonna try to get you too, Fonnie. Oh no, not Fonnie Willis, not Sister Girl. Yeah, he pardoned Fauci too. Yeah, he sure did. If Fauci didn't do nothing wrong, what you pardoning for? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, them Democrats gonna leave that woman on her own. I didn't even know about the $1 million fine thing. I didn't even know about that either. So basically they gonna take the house if she's convicted. They're gonna take the house. They want that $18,000, possible up to $1 million fine, and then I don't think she's gonna get 60 years if she was convicted. I seriously doubt it. But here's the thing: they said that out of, I think they had 24 people they had on the grand jury, 12 of them agreed with the case. The rest of them didn't. And a lot of experienced prosecutors say that when it's that many, they don't feel like they can get a conviction. They normally don't want no more than 2 people to disagree. And if it's more than 2, then they say, I don't think I can get a conviction because I couldn't even convince these people. I mean, talking about unanimously convince them all. So she may be in an okay position, with that, but we'll see. Now, the judge in the case is a Biden appointed judge. So we'll see how that work out, because come on, everybody knows this case is Trump enacting revenge. Because when he put that post out on Truth Social, I'm like, come on, like I know the defense gonna be like, this case is not even he said he fired the prosecutor that said there was no evidence in his case for a conviction. He put somebody there, then he got online and said just prosecute him. And then now we here. I mean, the defense Trump is giving a lot to the defense where they could tell a jury, like, no, this is extremely prejudicial. This is like, I think she may be in a decent position because all the moves Trump has made. So She may slide out of it. I don't know. She may. She may. She may. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. So y'all, what y'all think? You think Letitia gonna go to court and is she gonna get off or she gonna get convicted? What y'all think? Y'all let me know. You say she won't get 60, but Trump gonna see that she get at least 30. You say Comey gonna get it too. But here's the thing about Comey, what I would worry about. I'm just talking about me, just me personally, if I was in that position. This dude was the former director of the FBI. Let's just see if things just start coming out all of a sudden, start leaking to the press all of a sudden. I mean, you know, directors of the FBI got a lot of secrets and a lot of access on a whole lot of people that they keep their mouth shut about. Now, since all hands are, you know, on deck, who's to say that he won't just start leaking things that he knows? I'm just saying that's an interesting character to go after. The former FBI director. You say no one is above the law. That's real talk. Trump is. Trump's above the law. Let's just call it what it is. Trump is above the law. Because, you know, getting well, me or you had any charges Trump had, we'd be in prison. Let's call it what it is. We would be in prison. When Trump was convicted in New York, he got to go home. Puffy wasn't even convicted of any of that kind of stuff. And Puffy had to go. Look, Puffy's in jail for literally watching his girl getting 304'd out by a male sex worker that she paid, that he didn't even pay. And he didn't get to go home. He was a perv, yes, but that's what he's sitting in jail for. He not sitting in jail for beating her because he wasn't charged with no domestic, because federals don't charge you domestic violence case. That's a state case. Now, if it was a state case, yeah, he guilty as charged. He's guilty. But anybody else who had 34 convictions, we wouldn't have went home. We wouldn't have been running no election. We wouldn't have been done anything. Puffy had been sitting in jail for over a year, waiting on his trial. And I'm just saying. So no, there's people that's above the law in this country, and it's proved he is. If you would have been up there, quote unquote, saying things to rile people up for January 6th, you'll be in jail. I'll be in jail. Trust me, all of us would have been in jail. So now he above the law in a lot of ways. Sorry, he is. He got it fixed where whatever he do as president, he can't get convicted of. And I'm gonna tell you what else he gonna do. On his way out, he gonna pardon himself. And nobody can charge him with anything. He gonna do that on the way out. So yeah, he above the law. Oh yeah, he is. Y'all need to stop all that. Oh, nobody above the law, please. There's a lot of people in this country is above the law. You and I not above it, but a lot of white people are. I'm not talking about the poor whites. I'm talking about the rich ones. The only time they go to jail unless they cross somebody.
Yeah, he ain't lying.
You say he got good lawyers, but he lost the case. He lost the case in New York. How good is your lawyer? You lost that case in New York. Your lawyer ain't that good. Now, I would say Puffy's lawyers were good because to beat a RICO and all the charges, and he got convicted on the Mann Act. His lawyers were pretty good. Puffy, like they say Puffy could be at the latest. Puffy can be home in 2028. Maybe sooner. So yeah, Puffy had some good lawyers. He spent money though. Because Puffy you shouldn't even see Puffy no more.
Well, we need to donate to that presidential library and get out.
But anyway, the Trump legends say James, the second resident sponsor, was income. Oh, okay, yeah. That's that. Oh Lord, y'all talking about Aisha Curry? Oh God, let me tell y'all. Let me tell you something about Aisha Curry here before I wrap up. I'm gonna give men some advice. In one instance, they'll tell you, "Oh, I want a man to take care of me and do that. I want to live the soft life," and you give it to them. But then they get to a point where they feel they gave up everything to maybe take care of the kids. You know, you doing what you want to do, but they don't have nothing to do, or they have gave up their dream to be a mom or a wife. So what you have to do is, even if you Steph Curry and got millions of dollars, give her some millions and let her open up a business. Let her open up something. Give her something to do. Give her something to do. That way she can't be looking at you like you doing all this and I'm just in the house. And it's more to life for me than just being after kids and just being. Give her something to do. You modern men, listen, y'all have convinced me. I am convinced. I will not say certain things I used to say no more. Yes, I agree with y'all. It needs to be 50-50. You're 100% right. Yes. Now, if you have a baby, give her some time off. But yeah, it needs to be 50-50. Because when you do all that, doing it all yourself as a man, sometimes you can be resented later for doing that and get left. You thought you did everything right, and they was resenting you because you kept them in the house. So give her something to do. Let her have a business, a career, something. Don't have her just sitting in that house. No, that's Aisha's problem. That's a lot of her problem. And some of her problems, she thinks she's better than her husband. A lot of that too. You know, things she's saying about, oh, I want to have a career. Oh, I want to do this. Who's to say she can't have a career now? That's what I'm trying. I would even ask. See, I couldn't interview her because I'll be asking Aisha, if you ask him right now, could you want a business career? You want to go to school? I don't think he'll say no. So why are you coming on podcasts talking? But Aisha likes attention too, and that's another thing. All women like attention, but sometimes attention for some of them is like a drug, and you could think, well, why you need attention? Men, you'll never understand that drug of attention. It's an interesting thing. It's like they want outside validation. Not all, but a lot of them want outside validation. They do. And you were thinking, I'm providing, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And it's like, so let her live whatever dream she wants. Yeah. Please. Please let her do it. You say you're not procreating with a woman who doesn't want to stay at home to be the children's teacher. Well, that means you're gonna have to marry you a woman that's traditional from the village. Because modern women, no matter what culture they come from, this country don't even respect that. This country don't. So you gonna move to another country then, because it's just not gonna work here. It don't matter. You can say, oh, where's black women? No, it's not black women. It's all of them. It's all. Some of them want to be home for a time, but I'm just telling you, y'all just need to work together and build that relationship up. That's it. I mean, do what you want. It's your life. But like I said, I've conceded. You won't hear me say certain things no more because they don't work for y'all in this modern era. So, but if you want a traditional woman from the village, go to the village and you have all that. But a lot of you don't want to live in the village because you want these amenities. So you want these amenities? Even African women in the cities, they don't want to be in the house all the time either. Go to Nairobi and Johannesburg and go holler at them. They'll tell you. They want careers. They want to, they want all that too. There's no difference. So you're going to get you a woman from the village.
Leave me alone.
You say if he cheats on her, she deserves it. No. Let me tell you why. If your relationship isn't working, then y'all just need to sit down, figure that thing out, and go your separate ways. You don't need to go cheat. Why you need to go lie and do all that stuff? No. Be an adult. If it's not working out, then y'all handle that. You don't have to go lie and sneak and do all that. No, you don't have to do all that. You're grown. Figure that thing out You know, I just think some things she said about him, I think it's disrespectful. Personally, it's very disrespectful. It's one thing she said it to him in the house, but on public podcast,
yeah,
that's different. But hey, you say she's only known one man sexually, and that is the problem. Well, that's her problem. If she want to look, let me tell you something. Okay, she leave that man. She leave that man. She leave him. No man gonna follow up to what he is. She go out there, she get ran through, and what we've seen the evidence of, they'll circle the block, and she'll be going right back to his doorstep.
Why are they here?
And then there's so many women that look at her and like, you idiot. I wouldn't say nothing. I'll be just happy taking pictures with my kids, and wherever my man go, I'm there. I'm not saying nothing. But what happens is with situations like that, she's accustomed to the lifestyle, so it's normalized. So to you, it's not normal. You struggle, but to her, it's normal. So she don't look at it like you look at it. But she needs to chill out because, you know, a man can only take so much. But all right, y'all. Thank y'all for checking us out. I didn't mean to get talked about Aisha. Yeah, she do too much. But
I don't give a fuck. I don't care.
Half of 2024, they all tried to give
this. Okay, do that.
Can't be all upon me.
All right, so Letitia James is going to prison, more than likely. We will keep you updated on what happens with Letitia James. Now, in other news, the dump has admitted to Project 2025. I'm sure the Democratic shields will be happy about this. So at least they're going to give us an update on that.
And he's been implementing it the whole time. Ladies and gentlemen, shalom to everybody in the chat. Hope you're doing well. Listen, Donald Trump has come out and admitted he knows exactly what Project 2025 is, and he's been implementing it the whole time he's been in office. This is why you'll hear a lot of people, because Project 2025, he was just trying to get through his presidency the first time. And the second time around, now you got Project 2025 is already implemented. During the shutdown, Donald Trump is meeting with people, including the author of Project 2025, to see what they can get done during the shutdown. So they're still doing it behind the scenes. He didn't admit it then because Donald Trump was in fear of losing the election if he would have admitted it. So, hey, he's in there now. And 2025, Project 2025 is alive and well. So he's not ashamed now that he is the sitting president to let everybody know that, he knows what it is. And he knew what it was when he was on the campaign trail. He's just really good at lying, isn't he? Well, just as a reminder, after this, I'm setting up another live stream because you know what, y'all? The rapture didn't happen on October 6th. So we're going to talk about that maybe like around 6 o'clock. We'll talk about the rapture that once again never happened. I guess some people never learn. All right, so let me see. I'm going to share my screen because some of this you're going to hear in Donald Trump's own words. Here we go. Please give me a 1 if you can see my screen. Shalom, Kid Gravity. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. All right.
Does anybody remember that one thing called Project 2025? For those of you who don't remember, allow me to jog your memory banks. Project 2025 was a fear campaign that Democrats and biased media were running with for half of 2024. They all tried to convince us that Project 2025, they're not talking about it now because they're embarrassed of it, was something that Donald Trump was going to run with. And if he became president, he was going to implement it and he was going to destroy America. In fact, I think Project 2025 was something that the liberal left just made up, just to see if they can get something that would stick to Donald Trump.
That video was made around 7 months ago, and oh boy, it did not age well. Now, I want you to leave a comment below or raise your hand if you remember being called a fearmongerer during the election cycle for talking about 2025. I want you to continue raising your hand if you specifically remember Donald Trump tweeting out July 24th, 2024, I have nothing to do with and know nothing about Project 2025. The fact that I do is merely a disinformation campaign put out by the radical left Democrat thugs. Do not believe them. Signed DJT. The gaslighting from you guys is absolutely insane. And I'm not even going to read this whole thing right now because I know you guys have already seen it. It is hella viral. But as most of us already know, Donald Trump tweeted out today, October 2nd, that he has a meeting with Russ Vought, he of Project 2025 fame, to determine which of the Democrat blah, 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 blah. He's admitting he knows not only who the author of 2025 is, but he is working with him. He's understood Project 2025 this whole entire time, yet he only lied to you because he specifically knew moderates, independents, fence-sitters would not have voted for him if he championed Project 2025, because the majority of the country knew that what was inside the document of Project 2025 was so abhorrent, it was unpopular. But anyways, I just want to leave you with this final thought. If your president is willing to lie to you literally about absolutely anything or things of this magnitude, what else is he willing to lie about? I.e. the fucking Epstein files. Anyways, my name is Mercedes Chandler. Give me a follow. You won't see my face again. Thank you. Goodbye.
As you know, and as she knows better than anyone, I have nothing to do with Project 2025.
Donald Trump wanted the government to shut down because now what he is doing is using Russ Vought, the architect of fucking Project 2025, to decide what is a critical to fund fucking government service while the government's closed, which is also going to lead to the firing of thousands of Americans from their jobs. Schittler posted this on his Truth Social platform a little while ago. I have a meeting today with Russ Vought, he of Project 2025 fame, but I thought this administration didn't know what Project 2025 was. You mean to tell me you lied? Who would have fucking thought? To determine which of the many Democrat agencies, now mind you, there is no Democrat agencies within our government, most of which are a political scam. You tell me what department is a political scam? This motherfucker just wants to destroy anything and everything he can get his grimy, tiny, little orange fucking fingers on. He doesn't care about you. He don't care about those dumb motherfuckers that thought he gave a shit about them. Do you want to know who's going to be hit hardest by all of the healthcare cuts the Republicans have shut the government down over? Republican state voters. Republican voters in states that didn't expand Medicaid. The poorest Republicans in Republican states signed up at record rates in 2021 for Obamacare when these subsidies were increased that they are now doing away with. In fact, it doubled enrollees in red states when it expanded because people want health care. And those are the same people that are going to see their health premiums double and triple this month when open enrollment starts. People are going to see this. And the only person you can blame is the Republican Party and Donald Trump, because they're the ones that cut all of that funding for this program that more Republicans use than anybody else. Way to own the libs. Make America healthy again by stripping the poorest Americans of their health care. America, fuck yeah. Give Elon Musk all the money and subsidies. But please tell me more about how we should be patting the pockets of Bezos and Elon Musk and all of these fucking billionaires that we are fucking providing welfare queen subsidies so that their businesses can operate. But increase my taxes, right? Fuck you.
Hi, everyone. I had a couple of people comment on my Trump meeting Russ Vought video that I did today, and a couple of people that messaged me asking me to explain to them further what Project 2025 actually is and what it means for us. So it gave me the idea to do this video. So let's talk about what Project 2025 is and what it means for us. Project 2025 isn't just a plan anymore. It's the operating manual for this administration. It was written by Russ Vought, Trump's former budget director, and built out by the Heritage Foundation and more than 70 right-wing organizations. Together, they call it a presidential transition project. But what it really does is lay out exactly how to rebuild the federal government around the presidency itself. The blueprint calls for firing up to 50,000 career civil servants, the people who keep agencies functioning no matter who's in office, and replacing them with political loyalists. It rewrites the structure of power so that agencies like justice, education, labor, and the EPA don't serve the public anymore. They serve the executive. The legal trick is something called Schedule F, a reclassification that lets the president remove whoever isn't aligned with his priorities. That means scientists who publish inconvenient data, regulators who enforce safety rules, and analysts who push back on corruption can all be replaced overnight. And it's not a theory. We're already watching it happen. The government shutdown fight. It's the test run for how far they can go. Trump met with Russ Vought today, the man who wrote Project 2025, to decide which federal agencies should stay closed for good. He even called the shutdown an unprecedented opportunity. That's the strategy. Use crisis to shrink the system, then rebuild it in your own image. Funding freezes, firings, agency consolidations, all matching the timelines laid out in the Project 2025 handbook. Every week that this continues, more power gets pulled upward and less remains in the hands of experts, judges, or Congress. What this means for us is that every safeguard built to outlast any one president, the independence of the courts, the neutrality of science, the right to organize, the separation of church and state, all of it is being recoded into loyalty tests. If Project 2025 reaches its end game, the next administration won't have to take power. It will already have it baked into the system. So when people say this is about deconstructing the administrative state, that's the polite version. The real version is this. It's the methodical transfer of public power into private hands dressed up as reform. And the reason it matters now is because it's happening quietly through budgets, memos, and staffing decisions most people will never read. That's how democracies change shape, not with explosions, but with edits. And here's what to watch for next. Project 2025's next phase is about permanence, locking these changes in so that they can't be undone by future administrations. We're already seeing a lot of these happen already, but keep watching and continue to watch for these next. Expect to see more agency mergers, especially between departments that control data, surveillance, and education. Expect expanded acting positions that never go through Senate confirmation. Expect faith-based mandates pushed into public policy, especially in education and healthcare, and expect them to call it streamlining. That's the trick. Use the language of efficiency to hide the machinery of control. This isn't about governing anymore. It's about rewriting the definition of government itself. And if the public doesn't start paying attention, This won't end with Project 2025. It will end with a system built to outlive the people who created it. That's not reform. That's replacement. And if you're wondering when democracy ends, it's not on some distant date. It's in moments like this, when the edits start to look like the plan. I'll be breaking this story down even further on my Substack and Patreon. I'll be doing a deeper dive about Project 2025 over there. It's free to subscribe. Link is in the bio. Have a good evening. Thanks.
Okay, so this is breaking news, but Donald Trump just confirmed that Project 2025 was in fact the plan all along. Basically, in the tweet behind me, he's bragging about working with one of the Project 2025. I have a meeting today with Russ Bell. He is a Project 2025 fame to determine which of many Democrat agencies, most of which are a political scam, he recommends to be cut and whether or not those cuts, blah, 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 blah. Basically, I'm working with the guy that did 2025. Yes, he is my boy. Now that we have the confirmation that this is the plan for America, let's just go over again what Project 2025 says. Eliminate the Department of Education. Use public funds to pay for private religious schools. Encourage Christian indoctrination through public school. Dismantle civil rights and DEI protection. Eliminate no-fault divorce. Total ban on abortions regardless of viability or health of the mother. Ban all contraceptive. Ban African American and gender studies on all levels of education. Tax cuts for major corporations and 1% while increasing taxes on the rest. Eliminating unions and all worker protection. Eliminating all climate protection. Encourages Arctic drilling. Eliminating regulations on big business and oil. Raise the retirement age. Eliminate Social Security for the elderly and disabled. Promote capital punishment. Condemn single mothers while encouraging traditional family. Only recognize traditional families by overturning Obergefell versus Hodges. Dismantle the FBI and Homeland Security. Use of military to break up protests. Eliminating Head Start and free school lunch programs. Banning books. Force immigrants to be held in camp. Ban Muslims from entering the country. Dismantle the FDA, EPA, NOAA, and more. Pack the Supreme Court with extreme far-right judges. If you voted for Trump, that's what you're voting for, right? And most of that stuff has already happened. So now we know, prepare, study Project 2025, and do what you can to survive.
Well, Donald Trump has dropped the act and he is now totally embracing Project 2025. Remember during the campaign when he said he had no idea what Project 2025 was or who was involved, and it had nothing to do with his campaign? Well, now Donald Trump is saying that he is going to use the shutdown to implement Project 2025. Trump today wrote, I have a meeting today with Russ Vought, he of Project 2025 fame, to determine which of the many Democrat agencies, most of which are a political scam, he recommends to be cut, and whether or not those cuts will be temporary or permanent. I can't believe the radical left Democrats gave me this unprecedented opportunity. They are not stupid people, so maybe this is their way of wanting to quietly and quickly make America great again. President DJT. And let's just take a look at Donald Trump's post on July 5th, 2024, when he wrote, I know nothing about Project 2025. I have no idea who's behind it. I disagree with some of the things they're saying, and some of the things they're saying are absolutely ridiculous and abysmal. Anything they do, I wish them luck, but I have nothing to do with them. And I just want to say, shame on the legacy media for believing that crap and regurgitating Donald Trump's lies. We all knew. All of us knew. Yet the media defended him every step of the way. You had headlines like this in the USA Today. Fact-checking Kamala Harris. Harris repeats claim that Project 2025 is Trump's plan. That's still not right. Democrats have sought to tie former President Donald Trump to Project 2025 in recent months, and Tuesday's debate between Trump and Vice President Kamala Harris was no exception. Harris described Project 2025 as a detailed and dangerous plan. Trump
sorry I'm late.
Implementing if he is elected to a second term. She referred to it as his project.
Yeah, you missed Tuesday and ran late for Grand Rising. So we're going over Trump admits that he's using Project 2025. Oh, God. So you got like the halfway point.
Well, oh boy, man, I don't understand why he ain't in jail, man. I mean, man, really. So therefore, so all with this is, hey, twin, hold on, let me get hooked up here. All what it is, man, it's a bunch of damn hypocrisy, man, is what's going on, you know what I'm saying? And then, of course, Letitia James, you know,
Yeah, okay. She's being persecuted illegally. All it is revenge. Okay, number one.
He's on the revenge tour. Yeah, we covered that.
Yeah, you say, and why these assholes in the damn Congress ain't started a fucking impeachment, man, tells me they all in on it. And just like Randall Robinson says right here, in the end, neither side cares, and they don't. Because all of them are in cahoots.
Right. How they gonna start an impeachment though, Shabaka? They don't have they have no say. The Democrats have no say in the House or the Senate.
Yeah, or the Senate is because, see, the dumpster, man, he shored up the whole Congress. You see what I'm saying? And then you got the governmental shutdown. I'm just looking on mainstream media here, man. A lot of people don't know what they're going to do. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
And so what it is just like what the hell we've been saying all along, man. What is it going on for the last 8 years now? Black rap. This is why we got to become self-sufficient, to put our own people to work. You see what I mean? And we don't have time for these other groups. They can't come to us no more.
Yep.
You see, they can't come to us no more. Then the business that's happening down in Chicago, okay.
Oh yeah, we're gonna get to that next, Shabaka.
Okay.
Finish up with this project 2025.
Oh yeah. It's out to kill us.
2025, but in the debate and elsewhere, Trump has claimed he has nothing to do with Project 2025. And then in interviews, they would constantly.
But what's so funny about it is the head of Project 2025, who just recently passed away, endorsed Kamala Harris.
Now that's funny.
They also try to fact check Kamala Harris about Trump's association with Project 2025. Here was Nora O'Donnell on CBS.
Just read Project 2025. The former president said that's not true. He says everything. Come on, are we really taking his word for it?
And well, once again, Kamala Harris was right. Here's the Project 2025 tracker. As you can see, Project 2025 has already been nearly 50% implemented during Donald Trump's term. And I think this is yet another reason why so many people have lost faith in the legacy media. And if you want independent reporting that actually tells it how it is, that doesn't believe everything that Donald Trump says, I want you to follow the Midas Touch podcast right now on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Leave a 5-star review if you can, and join us on Substack at MidasPlus.com. Spread the word. I'll see you soon.
Some
That's right.
on the right, severe right, came
When
up
are they
with this
gonna
Project
book 'em,
25,
Dano?
and I don't even know. They are
Book 'em,
extreme. I mean,
Dano.
they're seriously extreme. But I don't know anything about it. I don't want to know anything about it. I have nothing to do with Project 2025. That's out there. I haven't read it. I don't want to read it purposely. I'm not going to read it. Project 2025, I've said 100 times. I know nothing about it. I had nothing to do.
President Donald Trump is now openly embracing the
I don't
conservative
know any
blueprint he
gods,
desperately tried to distance himself from during the 2024 campaign.
Project 2025. I've never read it. I don't want to read it because that way I can be honest with you. I don't want to read it.
In a post on his Truth Social site Thursday morning, Trump announced he would be meeting with his budget chief, quote, Russ Vought, he of Project 2025 fame, to discuss which federal agencies should be cut and whether the cuts should be permanent. Trump's comments represent a dramatic about-face after he and his campaign spent much of last year denouncing the massive proposed overhaul of the federal government that was drafted by many longtime allies and current and former administration officials.
And they come up with this. I don't know what the hell it is. It's Project 25. He's involved in Project. And then they read some of the things and they are extreme. I mean, they're seriously extreme.
Since his swearing in, Trump has been pursuing plans laid out in Project 2025 to dramatically expand presidential power and reduce the size of the federal workforce.
So Republicans shut down the government, and what is Donald Trump doing to get it back up and running? Well, he's up late at night sharing AI-generated videos again, and this time he took one of my favorite songs from Blue Oyster Cult, Don't Fear the Reaper, and they put it in this AI video where they depict Russ Vought from Project 2025 as the Reaper, and then J.D. Vance and Trump is playing along. Trump's playing cowbell and Vance is playing the drums, and Russ Vought is the Reaper. No, folks, I'm not making this up. I'm going to play you the clip. I've got the audio muted for copyright reasons. They completely bastardized the classic song in this video, but you can read along to the lyrics, and what they're saying is The power in Washington, D.C. is gone. Russ Vought is the Reaper. Take a look at this. This is insane.
Yeah.
Folks, the President of the United States, while the government was shut down, was sharing crap like that. And after saying on the campaign trail that he had nothing to do with Project 2025, he is now full-chested embracing it, just like we knew he was going to do. He posted this, and I shared this the other day in a video, but we're going to read it again. He put this out, and he said, I have a meeting today with Russ Vought, he of Project 2025 fame.
So Trump has just confirmed that Project 2025 is indeed his plan for the Department of Education. I'm going to go over all the pieces this week. There is a lot to go through. It's really going to depend on what state that you're in and whether or not your state can afford to risk losing federal funding if they don't adhere to the guidelines. The biggest thing he's going to do is allow corporations of his choosing to go into our school system to harvest labor directly out of. And I'll go over all that. He's going to take away teacher tenure and any employment protections they have as of right now. Now, how is this going to work with the corporations? Well, they are getting rid of IEP and 504 plans. So if your child needs any of those things to learn, well, they won't be available and they will be sent into a special program that the corporations will be providing so that they can make sure that those kids that come out of the school are skilled in specific areas for their corporations. So they do this in other authoritarian countries all the time. So it's not that hard to implement. Once you defund schools to a level that they could only teach certain kids that learn a certain way, the rest are sent into these corporate programs. And so we'll see what corporations he chooses. And he's going to require that teachers and students all pray in school to whatever they decide they want you to pray to. Good luck with that.
During the campaign, President Trump said that he did not know anything about Project 2025. Now he knows about it. Is that the blueprint for shrinking the government?
Look, the blueprint is what the president and his team and his cabinet secretaries ultimately decide.
During the campaign,
here's a terrifying fact about good old Project 2025. More than a third of its objectives are already completed. Quick reminder, President Trump said about it just last year, I know nothing about Project 2025, and I have nothing to do with Project 2025, which is ironic because a ton of these objectives were implemented on day one with a slew of executive orders he signed. Here's another fun fact. There are right now 20% of its objectives currently in progress, which means almost 60% of Project 2025 is either completed or in the works. We here at Viral Information are deeming October Project 2025 Exposure Month, and each day will tell you what's been completed, what's happening right now, and what objectives haven't begun yet, agency by agency. We'll also be noting which of these were signed directly by executive order. Surely a coincidence since President Trump knows nothing about Project 2025. Stay tuned while we uncover what a conservative think tank is remaking your government into. This has been Viral Information, and there's more where that came from.
You won't have to do it anymore. 4 more years, you know what? It'll be fixed. It'll be fine. You won't have to vote anymore, my beautiful Christians. I love you, Christians.
Won't have to vote anymore.
Well, y'all, let me just throw another thing out here. I heard, because you know Donald Trump is trying to get rid of our history, and I heard that during this shutdown, he is taking out a lot of things from the Black Smithsonian, which I'm not shocked. If you remember, about a month ago, he had his attorneys and people walk through to decide which displays and which things must come down. Well, I'm hearing the stuff is coming down behind the scenes during the shutdown. So he doesn't want anybody to know any of the things that we have done, our forefathers have done, and foremothers in history. So they're erasing it as we speak. So I'm not surprised, but it's a lot of dirt going on during this shutdown, y'all. And when things are back up and running, you're going to see the carnage that has happened. Now, Donald Trump wanted to get rid of 1.9 million federal workers. Now, I would not be surprised if this is already happening. I did read an article a few days ago that some on his team are trying to convince him not to fire people during the shutdown. But we know how Donald Trump operates. He doesn't care, nor does he take the advice of other people. He will just do this. You'll find out about it in the coming weeks as people come online and tell you that they got fired during the shutdown. So we shall see, but it's a lot of things going on, and I guess we'll see the real damage really soon. So y'all, I'm going to go ahead and conclude. Please return back at 6 o'clock because I intend on talking about another rapture that never.
Oh my God. All right, thank you, Lisa. What do you tell us? Shabaka Trump and Mr. User Project 2025.
Man, it's a mess, man, you know. And then I'm putting some comments in here, and social media rejected my comments, saying they think it's spam. Try it again. So I'm rewording it, and I'm putting up here more reason for us to build our own infrastructures. Okay, they let that one go through. Okay, now what do I mean for us to build our own infrastructures? Okay, we should be
family and fellow soldiers. I'm the professor
of housing, food distribution, banking. Okay, loan companies, durable goods, and consumer goods. See, we should be controlling all that there ourselves, because all this all-inclusive stuff is to our detriment.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
See, I've been saying that for the last 7 years. Yes, and this joker Trump, he's proving my point. You see?
Yeah.
He's proving my point. You know?
Randall said, I said Trump was going to cause havoc a couple years ago.
Yeah. Yeah. We said that. We said it the day he started running for re-election.
Truth.
Yeah.
See, we knew all this stuff was gonna happen.
Yeah.
But they got the kumbayas, Cory Booker's, Hakeem Jeffries, you know. All you black politicians, you need to quit at the city level, at the county level, at the state level, at the federal level, because you clowns are a fifth wheel.
Useless.
You're useless. You're obsolete. You're junk. But like our man here says, they always break their tools, and those tools have been broken.
Yep. So speaking of a broken tool, Brandon Johnson. Trump wants Brandon Johnson arrested.
I don't have a problem with it. Book his ass right there in the Cook County Jail. Let him walk the concrete.
So Trump threatens to put Brandon Johnson in jail.
Let him. Because I'm tired of these Negroes, you know, who get caught with their hands in the till, selling us down the tubes every day. And then when it comes there and bite them in the ass, here they come to us, oh, please support Brandon Johnson. Please support Cameron Bass. Please support London Bridge and what have you. You see, just like Letitia James. Now she's appealing to the black community. But Miss Letitia James, where were you at, ma'am, when they beat that brother to death, that they had handcuffed on that gurney? Where were you at on that there, Mrs. James?
Mr. Booker, where were you at when Mr. Booker was beat to death?
Exactly. Where were you guys at? You see?
When Daniel Penny killed our brother Jordan Nilly.
Yeah, exactly. Where were you all at? You see? Say you did those Uncle Tom Bradley moves.
And
When
Alvin
Bradley
Bradley.
was the mayor of Los Angeles, anytime a black issue comes up, what would Bradley do? He would deflect to other groups.
Mm-hmm.
They say,
he's doing the same thing as the mayor of Chicago.
yeah, exactly. You know,
All right, so
that former mayor, who's that old egghead idiot they just got rid of, Eric Adams?
yeah,
You tricks are obsolete. You all are going out there self-grandosing for yourselves. You're getting thrown under the bus. Look at Letitia James.
yeah,
Getting straight thrown under the bus.
yeah.
You see? But you still sitting up there, we shall overcome. Pow, ping, oops, upside your head. Fire hoses. We shall overcome. Good trouble. John Lewis, cracked upside the dome, stretched. Oh, that's good trouble. Oh, beat me some more.
Damn.
I mean, come on, people. Let's be real here. Would not no other group of people would go for this. You see what I'm saying? No other group of people would go for this. They will come together, man. You know what I'm saying? But we don't. We shall overcome. Pow, ping. You know what I'm saying? Glides gracefully upside your head. To quote the last poets. They said that way back in 1970.
Yeah.
Still is.
Professor Black Truth is going to give us an update on that.
Okay.
Here we're in Brighton Park in Chicago on 39th and Kedzie. Was a shooting earlier, a nice involved shooting. We want to demand an investigation. They are escalating violence. They are escalating violence in the city. This is not making anyone safer. These raids, and you saw that the raids that just did a few days ago, they were innocent people.
The great protester voice.
President Donald Trump says the Illinois governor and Chicago mayor should be jailed as they oppose his deployment of National Guard troops for his immigration and crime crackdown. Trump wrote on Truth Social that Mayor Brandon Johnson and Governor J.B. Pritzker should be in jail for failing to protect ICE officers. He's often singled out Chicago and Illinois because they have some of the country's strongest immigrant protections. He's also said that the nation's third largest city is a hellhole of crime, even though police statistics show significant drops in most crimes, including homicides. National Guard troops from Texas are positioned outside Chicago, despite a lawsuit by the state and city to block the deployment. The state's governor, one of Trump's fiercest critics, has called the president a wannabe dictator.
Let me be clear. Donald Trump is using our service members as political props and as pawns in his illegal effort to militarize our nation's cities.
Chicago will not be used as a political prop. Chicago will not be intimidated, and we will not be silent.
In post on X, Mayor Johnson said, "I'm not going anywhere," and Governor Pritzker said, "I will not back down," in response to Trump.
Yeah, there's no denying that the dream has turned into a nightmare, not just for the illegal aliens, but for a number of their backers and supporters. This morning's briefing is not the discussion around the fact that foundational Black Americans are not being rounded up and deported by ICE, despite the wishful thinking that's been put out by numerous tethers and clowns, lying by omission and trying to infer it, but it's not true. There are no massive protests in the street. All you got are the usual comparative handful of attention seekers pulling stunts at ICE facilities, which are being repelled very easily. Clout chasers are out here trying to get a following, but it's just not working. And speaking of not working, Chicago's mayor, Brandon Johnson's been breaking his neck and twisting himself into knots from the moment that he became mayor to protect illegal aliens, shifting all the city's resources to it and basically telling the Black residents that they don't matter. After all, he feels as if he can hold on to office and indeed make it to higher office without them. Clearly, the end game for people like Brandon Johnson and others has been the expectation that at some point there was going to have to be some sort of mass amnesty that would be granted. That way, all of these illegal aliens that they were trying to cater to and curry the favor of would be converted into a solid voting bloc. At least that was the expectation, but the orange man's thrown a monkey wrench in the works on that one. But for Brandon Johnson, this has been his constituency, and he hasn't even had the decency to make a secret out of it. Okay, then I say, since those are the people that he's trying to get the support of, and he thinks that those are the people who matter, let them bail him out. They should be the ones who stick up for him. Yeah, the orange man is already threatening that he's going to be going after Brandon Johnson and Governor Pritzker. And since these guys made it obvious that they were going to be using the illegal aliens basically as their protection, let them do it now. Let's see if these people will lift a finger to protect Brandon Johnson. Will the Hispanic or Asian or African Caribbean immigrants that he thought he was the mayor of do anything to protect him now or stick up for him? Or will they do as they've always done in their home countries and go to the political strongman and try to make a deal with him? See, that's what actually happens in the real world. The black media has been telling you this for 17 plus years now. The reason that the Hispanics in particular broke for Trump was because of their history. Historically, Latin America has had one dictator after the next, one corrupt ruling family after the next, one junta, one coup, one authoritarian regime after the next. They're used to it. And it's the same in Asia and Africa and the Caribbean. They couldn't make the adjustment to a place where we had made it easy and where they had some breathing room so that they could actually join with us to expand that breathing room. They simply couldn't make that transition. Instead, when they came to the U.S., where foundational Black Americans had been undermining the kind of authoritarian influences that forced them to flee their home countries, they didn't band together with us because they had never fought the fascists in their own home countries. Instead, they reverted to type and did what they did back home, kowtow to power. As the old saying goes, practice doesn't make perfect. Practice makes permanent. And that's the reason why all of this nonsense that we see people out here performing for the cameras, it's not going to go anywhere, especially not with the very illegal aliens that they think they're doing favors for. The illegals who Brandon Johnson's been trying to do the most for are far more likely to go to Trump and try to cut a deal with him. But what they won't be doing is putting themselves on the line for Brandon Johnson. These groups have never advocated to have a black person in charge over them. They come from cultures that are viciously and violently anti-black. And by the way, that also goes for a number of these African and Caribbean immigrants as well. A lot of them also have an anti-black mentality. So since these people were not sticking up for black empowerment, and they definitely weren't impressed with having a black person as their leader in their home country, they're not about to start now. And just for the record, please don't be naive enough to think that the orange man won't actually try to bring charges against these guys. I'm not saying that he definitely will. What I am saying is don't put it past him. James Comey has already had charges brought against him. And as far as the orange man is concerned, if the Democrats are willing to conduct lawfare against a former president, why shouldn't he conduct lawfare against one of their mayors or governors? Everybody's fair game now as Trump sees it. So no, it is not outside the realm of possibility that Trump might actually try to make good on this threat. After all, as he once said,
"What do you have to lose by trying?"
But this morning's briefing is about the reckoning that's occurring. It's about how bootlicks and controlled opposition can wind up outsmarting themselves. What Brandon Johnson and his Democratic pals are hoping for is that we will do what we did in 2020 and rise up on their behalf. Well, he made it clear who his constituency is, and it wasn't the freedom fighters who were in the streets 5 years ago. Brandon Johnson had no problem with the thugs in blue. He was always tap dancing every chance he got, so that being the case, let him go to the police unions. Let them support him. Let him go to all those people that he was being mealy-mouthed and all linguini spine for. Let them stick up for him. Because that's who it is that he wanted the support of. That's who he's been speaking up for. That's who he's been delivering tangibles for. That's who he's been catering his policies towards. Let him go to the illegal aliens, to the police. Let him go to political whores and prostitutes like Rahm Emanuel. Let them rise up for him. Go ahead and tell people that the very racist and bigots from Latin America, the folks who are coming in from Asia who like to shoot black people in their stores, if not in the streets, let those people go ahead and be the ones that he sticks out front and says, hey, we need to make sure that as many people who come from anti-black cultures as possible are let into the United States. See how well that goes over. These racists were shook 5 years ago. They were so scared the bastards were under siege. Even Donald Trump was surrounded in the White House and scared to come out. This time around, the streets are a lot more quiet. Sure, the white media can try to make it seem as if, oh, there's just tumult in the streets. It's chaos, I tell you. No, it's not. There's a couple of demonstrations in front of a couple of ICE offices in Dallas and Chicago, and that's pretty much it. And these so-called demonstrations are not being led by freedom fighters in the streets. It's being led by the usual suspects, the Democrats' would-be insiders, their handful of corrupt preachers and social activists and such, the clowns they got on the payroll, individuals who depend on the DNC for every crumb of their daily bread. That's who they got. A far cry from the masses who had taken to the streets 5 years ago. And you better believe Trump knows it. What's happening right now, this is nothing compared to what was going down in 2020. And the orange man is taking full advantage of this fact. Where was Brandon Johnson at 5 years ago, by the way? Was he siding with the uprising, or was he kissing the hairy racist rump of the Rahm Emanuels and other Democratic influence peddlers that he was trying to get money and support from? We all know the answer. And this is the result. Rahm Emanuel ain't riding to the rescue. Far as Rahm Emanuel is concerned, that's one less Negro that he has to contend with in the future, just in case Brandon Johnson had any delusions that he was going to run for higher office. Rahm Emanuel is only trying to make more room for himself and his psychopathic siblings. He could care less about Brandon Johnson, unless Brandon Johnson's on his knees doing God knows what. The Democrats have no one to blame for their current position but themselves. See, the problem for controlled opposition is not if they lose power. The true danger for them is if they keep it. The entire mission of controlled opposition is to disempower the segment of the population who threaten the dominant society. Controlled opposition are not really in charge, so whether or not they hold office or not is irrelevant. But if they do hold on to office and the people wise up to the scam, then they're in trouble. Controlled opposition serve the interests of the dominant society, not by enforcing the dominant society's rule, but by making sure that the freedom fighters, the agitators, the downtrodden never organize to the point that they can challenge it. Their job is to tell the oppressed that they need to get behind the controlled opposition, and those guys will make change. Just trust them. Of course, their actual job is to get you to sit on your hands year after year, which inevitably turns into decade after decade and eventually generation after generation, while nothing changes. Even if the controlled opposition are in office, if they accomplish their job of stymieing the forces of justice, then at some point the dominant society no longer needs them anymore. That's what you're seeing. Push comes to shove. The people who the controlled opposition were told you got to keep them in line. Well, you show you can't keep them in line. Well, hell, why do we have to keep you on the payroll anymore? The Democrats have spent decades making politics safe for the very forces of fascism that they now claim to resist. But in reality, they've been on the same side of those same fascists. When the Democrats went whole hog to be the handmaidens for those corporate interests, just like the Republicans, they chose to become adjacents to the fascists because most corporations are fascist in nature. That's how corporations operate. They're certainly not democratic. Even the ones with unions are not democratic because the workers can't vote the CEO out if he's doing a rotten job or trying to send their job overseas. There's still nothing more than private tyrannies. And now we see the Larry Ellisons of the world trying to take this to a grotesque extreme. He and other corporate authoritarians are consolidating their power over the society. It's simply a fact. The billionaires have never just wanted to sit on a beach somewhere and enjoy their money. They've always looked at their huge amounts of wealth as a way to play God and to reshape the society the way they want it to be. And as for the people, they are at best just pawns to be moved around, or they're just useless eaters who contribute nothing to the 1%'s wealth creation and hence should be eliminated. And for chumps like Brandon Johnson and others, the new society's oligarchs' vision doesn't include them. This is why these silly Negroes trying to get in good with the Democrats, or Republicans for that matter, in the hopes of getting a political patronage job, that was always a sucker bet. These shills dream of being the next Barack Obama, meaning a tether who kisses the right behinds and then gets rewarded with a nice elevator ride to the top. But that was only a trick that he gets to pull. They always forget that while the Larry Ellisons can give you tons of money, what they can't give you are votes. Larry Ellison only gets to cast one ballot, just like everyone else. Huge campaign donations are useless when a critical mass of the electorate are on code. When those disaffected people finally remember that the antidote to organized money is an organized vote. But judging by how events are starting to unfold, Brandon Johnson won't have either of those things. He's probably about to watch the end of his political future, or more than that. He bet everything on the illegals getting amnesty and on these hollowed out charlatans who want to jump in front of the cameras being able to mobilize Black people in support of him. He's being proven wrong on both counts. These bootlicks think that they can make a career out of being useful idiots. It just never occurred to them. When you take away an idiot's usefulness, all you have left is the idiot.
Exactly.
Good day and be one. I'd like to take a moment to mention some of our contributors: Frederica Moore, Carl Miller, Chevalier Foster, Mark Anderson, and William Ross. Salute to them and thank you to everyone for listening, liking, and sharing this message. Black empowerment only exists because of you.
All right, Shabaka,
Well,
quick thoughts.
people. Well, once again, the professor spoke the truth. Okay, the day of the ass scratch of the Yasa boss is over. They're getting thrown down the toilet, just like how he says they always break their tools. You see what I'm saying? The Brandon Johnsons, the Eric Adams, the Hakeem Jeffries, the Cory Bookers. Uncle Tim Scott is beyond repair. You see what I'm saying? Okay, they might as well throw his ass off in the scrapyard. You see what I mean? So how can people go out here, go vote, get played out of their votes? You see what I'm saying? In Nevada, you got a senator by the name of Scam Brown.
Yeah.
I might go out there and campaign for that son bitch the next fucking time he run for re-election, because at least he's honest. Look at his name, Scam Brown. Okay. So what more do you need to know? He's a crook. Okay. He's living up to his reputation. I appreciate the dude's honesty.
Yeah.
Because I know if I go out here and vote for this clown, I know that myself and my people's interests will not be addressed. Okay, so I appreciate his honesty. But these brain dead, ass scratching Negroes, I mean, it's just incredible. And perhaps, Brother Che, we probably need to do a show on the future on that. Is how did they weld the chain on the Negro's brain? You see what I'm saying? Not lock it, weld it on it, because you know it's harder to break a weld seal than a lock. You see, you can pick a lock, but a weld seal, oh man, that's going to require a whole lot of extra effort.
Yeah.
Yasa Boston is at an all-time high. Okay. And here on this platform, ladies and gentlemen, when we have disagreements, we disagree agreeably. You see what I mean? Okay. Now, also too, Trump is taking Black history out of the schools. Okay. Just like the panties when I was down there in Florida, and one of the panties people, well, man, what do you think about woke theory? I'm saying, like, my man, what the hell is woke theory? Now, keep in mind, people, I'm playing stupid because that was the first and only time that I was in the South. I will not be returning to the South. So I sit up here, I listen to this diatribe, you know what I'm saying? And basically what it is, Black family. These other groups of people, they want our benefits. You know what I'm saying? But they do not want to put in the work and have the nightstick glide gracefully upside their heads like it did ours.
Yep, they want our rhythm, but they don't want our blues, Shabaka. All right, I got one more, because then I got to go. And that is Trump wants J.B. Pritzker arrested too.
Fine. Fine. I don't have a problem with it.
Some more ICE raids in Chicago. Trump calls for arrest of Governor J.B. Pritzker and Mayor Brandon Johnson. So at least they're going to give us
okay, then have them be Sally's.
And then we're going to wrap it up.
Yeah. Have them be Sally's. I don't have a problem with Trump.
All right, y'all. Sorry I
me
had you waiting. My son is a bit under the weather today, so I was helping him out. So anyway, we're going to look at some more footage from Chicago ICE raids and Donald Trump on here threatening to arrest the governor and the mayor of Chicago. You know how it is. The right, they feel they can say and do whatever they want. But if you resist or you don't comply, then they want to, do harm to you because that's how they are. It's freedom of speech for them, but something else for everybody else. So anyway, it's funny because Chicago seems to be giving ICE the hardest time. Out of all the other cities were mild, even DC was mild compared to Chicago. Chicago, man, they are fighting like hell out there. They have gotten in shouting matches. They be you'll see all the stuff they do. But those folks they seem to be the most bold out of everybody so far when dealing with ICE. So let's get to the videos, and you're going to see also the governor and the mayor speaking, as well as Donald Trump. All right. So let me share my screen. Okay. Give me a 1 if you can see my screen. Thank you. Okay.
Wait. Yeah, you guys came to the school, and so do they have a warrant? They haven't asked her parents. My name is Jocelyn from Cicero. They don't have a warrant. They do not for like. They forcibly opened the door. It was locked.
You no me puedes, no tiene cosa, tú me metes, tú.
He said back though. Sus big recipe big.
Yeah, but
You guys, what?
They were following us. They were on the Whoa.
He's so back this. We're okay.
I know I'm okay, but I'm worried about other people. Oh no. Yeah. They were coming to get their kid? They don't have to answer my question? Wait, what? Were they coming to get a child? I'm just a little bit confused. Is their kid still inside? Because I want to make sure that the school knows.
Silent rug.
They hit the pastor upside the head with a pepper ball.
This is what I've been telling you guys all along. ICE is a trash government agency filled with racist goons and Latinos and Black people who want to be white. Don't feel bad for them if anything happens to them. Shooting a pastor in the head with a pepper ball.
On your people, not ours.
A pure abuse of power, and they are doing nothing good for the community. They're not arresting criminals. They're arresting a bunch of people who are producing good things for the community, Latinos who have been working here for a long time. ICE is garbage. It's a garbage agency. Never, ever feel bad for them. If something happens to them in the street, it would just shrug it off as whatever. These people are trash, bro. They're the worst varmint of the worst. And a lot of them are going to go to prison. Just you wait. There's going to be a moment when all of this is going to go away and all of these people have to respond for the abuse of power and crimes that they are committing against the people of the United States. ICE is garbage. They're racist assholes. Que tengan buen día.
I saw this. Watch this. Now, what you're witnessing right here, people, is a game called Save Ass.
A lot of rank and file Chicago cops who say that they are outraged that they were ordered to stand down after federal agents were attacked. The communication for the stand down appears to have come from the chief of patrol himself over the communications platform with the Office of Emergency Management and Communication, reading very clearly, no units will respond to this. Multiple police sources have confirmed that that message is authentic, and it is backed up by audio of the stand down order.
So the chief of patrol, clear everybody else, reply over there.
And 999, just to confirm, 39th place in Kessie, they were saying that they were
That's
being
the west
surrounded
side.
by that large crowd, and they were requesting the police were not sending. I'm waving off all the cars heading to 39th place in Kessie.
Those are the orders will be given.
Now, the official statement from Chicago Police Department reads, CPD responded to the scene to document the incident. CPD officers were also on the scene to maintain public safety and traffic control. It happened in Brighton Park. The scene was triggered when two individuals allegedly rammed a Border Patrol vehicle with their cars. Border Patrol agents shot the driver of one of the allegedly attacking vehicles. The drivers are now charged federally, but the incident triggered a riot. That's when the calls for help went out. Now, Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson just moments ago dodged questions about whether that order tracks back to him, but he says he doubts the narrative of the Border Patrol agents.
They claimed it was defensive fire, but frankly, we cannot trust anything that comes out of the administration. We have a rogue, reckless group of heavily armed mass individuals roaming throughout our city that are not accountable to the people of Chicago. Their actions put all Chicagoans at risk.
And we knew this was coming, but the Illinois Attorney General has just made it official. The state of Illinois is now suing the Trump administration, claiming that the president is using American soldiers to punish his political.
This is a big win for immigrant advocates in Chicago. The ruling finding ICE is conducting illegal arrests in violation of a consent decree that limits warrantless arrests in the Chicago area of responsibility. That includes Illinois and 5 neighboring states. Collateral arrests, or people arrested while ICE is out patrolling the city, have been a major part of Operation Midway Blitz, and now a federal judge has imposed new restrictions on agents. Attorneys with the National Immigrant Justice Center in Chicago say the number of warrantless arrests in just the past 2 weeks have skyrocketed. Their case against ICE, starting with 26 people, now up to at least 200.
What we have seen now on a much larger scale is federal agents indiscriminately stopping and arresting individuals without warrants.
A family scooped up at the bean late last month. Collateral warrantless arrest during a raid at a home in Elgin, with Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem present, posting this video on social media.
He actually had his work permit to be working here legally.
Alliance father, Abella Roscoe, picked up earlier this year. ICE reports reviewed by the I-Team confirming agents did not have a warrant, instead creating one after taking him into custody.
My father was the main breadwinner of the family, so having him gone, it's hard.
All examples of what U.S. District Judge Jeffrey Cummings ruled is an ongoing pattern of ICE violating the terms of a consent decree. NIJC attorneys successfully arguing agents produced no warrants, civil or criminal, for the arrests. Cummings taking particular issue with instructions to ICE agents to carry blank I-200 forms, civil immigration warrants, on their person in the field to fill them out on the spot, calling ICE's arguments it can do so lawfully meritless.
If they made a warrantless arrest, they need to justify and document the specific information.
Under the federal consent decree with ICE, to arrest someone with or without a warrant, ICE agents are required to meet 2 criteria. Is there probable cause to believe someone is in the U.S. illegally, and are they also a flight risk? ABC 7 chief legal analyst Gil Sofer says the government is likely to appeal the ruling.
Well, we'll see if it changes operations on the ground. He's certainly sending a shot across the bow, and that, if it's going to be abided by, that's going to slow things down and really impose rigor around the process.
Immigrant advocates intensely emotional over the result.
To a Black and brown people and immigrants, it does not always seem to be that this earth wants us, but we want us, and that can be enough.
Now, the Department of Homeland Security said in a statement to the I-Team, quote, DHS complies with all lawful court orders and is addressing this matter with the court. NIJC says it will seek the release of hundreds of people they claim were unlawfully arrested.
All right.
A lot to come out of that.
Just sticking with exactly what the law says, sir.
Absolutely. And we'll see what comes from DHS and how they handle this in court.
What would you say to the people who are against your operations right now when you're going and doing something like this to keep the community safe? What would you say to those people who are saying, you know, calling you guys Gestapo, things like that as you're walking around? What would you say to them?
You know, I think the first thing I would say is, how about you lived in the apartment next door to Trinidad Aragua members that are trafficking in prostitution, guns, drugs, and taking advantage of American citizens in a violent way? Why don't you live next to them and then see how much of a Gestapo or a Nazi we are?
What's the end game here? What's the goal?
Well, the end game tonight, obviously, is to make that area a safe place. We're going to remove all illegal aliens, especially if it's Trinidad Aragua, but any and all illegal aliens, and that's going to make this community a safer place.
Come and get me. Come and get me. And what kind of a country are we living in where the president of the United States is targeting his political opponents? I mean, that is the world that we're living in now, where he is calling out. He said he was going to jail Gavin Newsom. He says he's going to jail me. He says he's going to jail the mayor of the city of Chicago. These are people who stand against him, disagree with him, speak out about it, but literally have done nothing wrong. We are doing the people's business by standing up for them.
President Trump this morning called for you, Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker, to be jailed for, quote, failing to protect ICE officers. What is your response?
Well, you know, first of all, this president is unstable, unhinged, a double-minded individual that, quite frankly, is a threat to our democracy. And it's certainly not the first time that Donald Trump has called for the arresting of a black man unjustly. I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to stay firm as the mayor of this amazing city, which was voted 9 years in a row the best big city in America. And we're going to defend all of Chicago. If Congress will not get this administration, then Chicago will. Today, we are signing an executive order aimed at reining in this out-of-control administration. The order establishes ICE-free zones. That means that city property and unwilling private businesses will no longer serve as staging grounds for these raids. Our school parking lots are not for ICE to load their weapons. They are for Chicagoans who drop their kids off to learn. Our libraries are not for ICE to prepare for a raid. They're for Chicagoans to read and relax. Our parks are not for ICE to set up checkpoints. They are for Chicagoans to play and enjoy. Private establishments can partner with us to make it clear that private property is private property, and ICE cannot enter establishments without a valid warrant. Private entities may voluntarily choose to display signage to designate their property as part of a citywide network of community spaces that stand together in affirming the safety, dignity, and belonging of all of our residents. By extending this protection beyond city-owned land, the order builds a broad civic shield that limits the reach of harmful enforcement practices. It strengthens neighborhood solidarity, and it reaffirms Chicago's role as a welcoming city.
Well, only thing I can say about that is this, is that these bootleg politicians, rather if it's this clown right here.
Okay. So if you haven't heard, Donald Trump is calling for Governor J.B. Pritzker and Mayor Brandon Johnson to be arrested because they instructed the cops not to help ICE. And they're not helping ICE. So it's causing a big friction between the Trump administration and the Illinois governor and mayor. So he already said yesterday to arrest these two. Now, I don't think that's going to happen. If it does, it's definitely a first. I don't believe they will be arrested. And I don't know if y'all heard, I heard Donald Trump had another mini stroke. You remember when I had showed y'all the video a few weeks ago of him and his mouth was drooping on one side? They're now saying that they think it's happening again. His mouth is drooping on one side, and they're saying they believe he had another mini stroke. Now, I don't know. I'm not a doctor, but now my mother had 2 strokes, and I certainly do know what it looks like. So, yeah, and Donald Trump had his doctor. What was hilarious, he had his doctor say he was in good health because he wins golf tournaments. I was cracking up. I said, you told that doctor what to write. That's what Donald Trump had his doctor write. He's in good shape. He's in good health because he wins golf tournaments. I said, I have never seen a doctor write that even for an athlete. But they're going to write that for Donald Trump. Come on, man. But it's still crazy in Chicago. I think Chicago is more than they can handle. Y'all all just think about this. ICE is out there right now and they are not getting paid. And so far, their toughest assignment has been Chicago. And can you imagine coming up against a bunch of people pouring in the streets all the time, everywhere you go, and you're not even getting paid to do that job because of the government shutdown? I just want to see how long these people are going to show up for work, y'all. I think the longer the government shutdown happens, these folks are going to start jumping ship. And they are. Nobody's going to. And then on top of that, Donald Trump, and I did a live stream yesterday, Donald Trump said he ain't going to give them back pay. So they're on this shutdown. They got to work and there's no back pay. Now they're going to stop showing up. That's my prediction. They're going to stop showing up. Yeah, well, first of all, no doctor writes that. That's why I said that had to come from Donald Trump. He must be dictating to these doctors what to write about him. And remember, he said he was 6'4", 224 pounds. Now you see what Donald Trump looked. Donald Trump looked like he's tipping 300. Donald Trump looks like he's more on the 300-pound end. He don't look like no 224. A 224, 6'4" man would be slim. Okay, he would be a slim man. He would not look like Donald Trump. I said, yeah, look like he added a few inches, and you say 325. Yeah, Enoch, you could be right. 325. He ain't no 2 anything. I believe Donald Trump is 300 plus. Well, old people do start shrinking. They do. You maybe when you were younger, you were 6'4", but at 70 something, usually you start losing inches. 5'11". Yeah. He probably is more like 5'11". I mean, all his children are tall. Ivanka is 6 foot. Eric is 6'5". Barron is 6'7". And Don Jr., I think, is the shortest out of all the siblings. I think he's like 6 feet. He's about the same height as Ivanka. His head alone is 40 pounds. A trip. Y'all know them folks be coming to my comment section. Y'all be hurting their feelings. You should see them writing me. You're so mean in this comment. Y'all be hurting their feelings for real. You know I don't care. You know I don't care. Well, this place is going to be divided. We're in the final days. We knew all this infighting, and the Republican Party and Democrat no longer on speaking terms. So it's no telling how long the government's going to be shut down. But they even said again today, this is going to be a long one. I do feel sorry for the people that work for the government because, they're going to definitely fall behind on their bills, their mortgage, their rent. And if you don't give them back pay, they're never going to be able to catch up. And that's what Donald Trump is talking about doing. But they said there is a law. In fact, the law was put in place when Donald Trump was in his first term that said that the government, federal workers would get back pay if there's a shutdown. Now he's trying to rescind all of that and say, no, they're not entitled to that. Unbelievable. Well, y'all, I'm going to conclude, but please come back for the next one. At 6:00, I'm going to be talking about Elon Musk and his Starlink satellites have been falling out of the sky at an alarming rate. They said, kid you not, there's 8,000 Starlink satellites in outer space, and they are saying 2 satellites per day have been dropping from the sky, which is really dangerous. Somebody could get killed, and I got footage of a whole string of them falling out the sky all together. So you're going to see this. It's a whole bunch of them. They said, I think like more than 10 dropped out of the sky, and they were in a straight line coming back down to Earth. So this is going to be real interesting. So that's going to be at 6:00. So I hope to see all of you then. Shalom, family.
Shabaka. Thank y'all for tuning in. This is going to conclude season 10, episode 46, Grand Rising with Shabaka and the Chase, in conjunction with the Front Line Blacc News. Join us tomorrow for a brand new episode of the Front Line Blacc News, season 5, episode 47, part 1. In the meantime, make sure you like and subscribe to all our platforms, Front Line Blacc News on YouTube and Facebook, The Revolutionary Agenda on YouTube and Facebook, and Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced on Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok. So peace, love, light, reparations, and separations in Black. Peace, love, light, reparations, and separations, delineations in Black empowerment. Shane Krumman and Lady Chase signing off from the Mile High Income and Legal Market for the city in a sundown town known as Aurora, Colorado. Peace, Mac. Peace, Twin. Peace, Randall. And anybody else that tapped in. Jab. Appreciate you coming through. Win, lose. Appreciate you coming through. Brother Kahari, Young Riaz, appreciate you coming through. Anybody else speaking and not speaking. So peace, y'all. See y'all tomorrow.